March-April marked a pivotal moment in Pakistan's history. Amidst a deepening economic crisis, the government launched a campaign dubbed Sasta or Muft Aata, offering free and inexpensive flour across the nation. This initiative aimed to ease the burden of skyrocketing prices on the populace. However, this well-intentioned gesture had unforeseen and tragic consequences. Desperation led to chaos, sparking stampedes at various distribution sites, resulting in injuries and, tragically, loss of lives. The struggle and chaos for a mere bag of flour starkly illustrated the severity of the economic crisis. As inflation soared over 30%, hitting a 50-year peak, the economic strain intensified. With 1/3 of the population battling poverty, the everyday challenge of providing a meal became an overwhelming reality for many in Pakistan. The campaign, meant to bring relief, instead highlighted the depth of the economic hardship facing the nation. In a country grappling with such high inflation and poverty, is Pakistan's economy on the brink of collapse? And why should this matter to the world? Pakistan's economy, since gaining independence in 1947, has been akin to a roller coaster ride, marked by significant ups and downs. From the late 1950s, under the leadership of General Ayub Khan, the nation experienced a phase of remarkable expansion. However, the stability and growth of the Ayub Khan era were not to last. Subsequent administrations, like those of Bhutto and General Zia, navigated through more challenging times. During Bhutto's presidency in the 1970s, Pakistan grappled with the impact of the global recession, the painful division of East Pakistan, and devastating natural disasters, leading to significant economic setbacks. In 1977, a new chapter began with General Zia taking the helm. His tenure saw the implementation of Islamization policies and a pivotal role in the Soviet-Afghan conflict. Despite the political and social upheavals, the economy under General Zia displayed resilience, with the GDP growing at an average of 6.6% annually. The 1980s, however, brought new challenges as the industrial sector began to falter, leading to exchange and budgetary deficits. The government, constrained by reduced foreign funding, had to seek assistance from Bretton Woods institutions. 1998 was a landmark year with Pakistan's first nuclear test, but it came at a cost. International sanctions impacted military sales, remittances and foreign aid. Post 9/11, the Musharraf government showed signs of economic progress, bolstered by increased foreign investment. However, following Musharraf, the economy again took a downturn. The lawyers' movement, Benazir Bhutto's assassination, and the global financial crisis added to the woes. While the PMLN administration from 2013 to 2018 was perceived to leave the economy stronger, it was marred by growing state debt, a large current account deficit, and declining exports. As PTI began to expand in 2018, the unforeseen COVID-19 pandemic struck, causing global economic instability. For Pakistan, this meant a steep decline in growth rates, dropping significantly in the fiscal years following. This tumultuous journey of Pakistan's economy reflects a nation persistently striving to overcome its challenges, ever evolving in the face of global and domestic shifts. Pakistan's economy teeters on the brink as it grapples with a staggering year-on-year inflation rate of 36.5%, a peak not seen in nearly 6 decades. The ripple effects of this inflation are palpable across the nation. From struggling businesses to dwindling customer bases, the harsh realities of daily life are becoming increasingly evident. Desperation grows as many Pakistanis turn to loan sharks, risking their lives in perilous journeys to Europe, seeking respite from the economic turmoil. Adding to the country's woes are natural disasters, like last year's devastating rains that obliterated 1/3 of Pakistan's land, incurring losses of $30 billion. The lack of sufficient funds to combat these disasters has pushed Pakistan into a vicious cycle of debt. Pakistan's survival now hinges on the support of the International Monetary Fund, IMF. but looming questions about debt repayment persist. With a low tax to GDP ratio and limited exports, the nation relies heavily on external aid and loans from allies like China and Saudi Arabia. Political instability and military influence exacerbate Pakistan's economic challenges. The recent ousting of Imran Khan and the ensuing political unrest underscore the nation's struggle for stability. Security concerns have escalated since the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan, diverting attention to counter-terrorism efforts. The interim government is now tasked with expanding the tax base, implementing strategic privatizations, and resolving the burdens posed by state-owned enterprises. As economic and political uncertainties mount, a brain drain ensues, with many of Pakistan's brightest minds seeking opportunities abroad. Yet, amidst the despair, there remains a glimmer of hope. Optimists emphasize the importance of unity, retaining talent, and building a brighter future. The Pakistan Army's enduring influence shapes this narrative, with experts divided on its impact on economic growth. Despite the daunting challenges, the question lingers: when will Pakistan emerge from its current crisis? A simple question, yet the answer is anything but. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, stands as a pillar of global economic stability. Its core mission: to foster international monetary cooperation, ensure exchange rate stability, and provide financial support to member nations in need. In a recent move, Pakistan secured a lifeline from the IMF, a 9-month standby arrangement estimated at $3 billion. But what's driving this need for urgent financial aid? So what exactly does this economic assistance entail? The IMF's support is akin to a roadmap for Pakistan to achieve economic stability. The focus is on reducing budget deficits, stabilizing the economy, and reallocating funds towards social and developmental projects. The stakes are high, with an immediate disbursement of $1.2 billion and more funds to follow, contingent on progress checks. But why this urgent need for financial support? Pakistan faces a daunting combination of challenges: extreme weather conditions, catastrophic flooding, and legislative hurdles. The result: depleted financial reserves, soaring inflation, and widening fiscal and external deficits. Under the IMF program, Pakistan's strategy is clear. The focus is on implementing the FY24 budget, stabilizing the currency, tackling inflation with stringent monetary policies, and pushing forward structural reforms in critical sectors like energy, state-owned enterprises, and climate resilience. IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva believes Pakistan has a chance to bounce back. The FY24 budget, with its modest surplus goal, is a promising start. Yet, addressing energy sector challenges, expanding the tax base, and enhancing fiscal management remain critical tasks. In Pakistan, a scene unfolds that speaks volumes about its dire economic situation. People are seen chasing vehicles, not in protest or celebration, but in a desperate search for food, particularly wheat flour. This is a symptom of what's being termed as the most significant economic crisis the nation has faced in 50 years. The country's Prime Minister has starkly acknowledged the severity of the situation, admitting that Pakistan is teetering on the edge, with reserves barely sufficient for 3 weeks of imports. This raises an alarming question: is Pakistan's economy on the brink of collapse? And why should this matter to the world? To understand the current crisis, we must take a roller coaster ride through Pakistan's political history. Since gaining independence in 1947, the country has seen an astonishing 29 prime ministers, yet none has completed a full 5-year term. Military coups and corruption charges have led to frequent changes in leadership. The most recent political shift saw the exit of cricket legend Imran Khan. Stepping into this tumultuous landscape is Shehbaz Sharif, known as Punjab's Speed, with a promise to usher in stability. Now, let's delve into the financial abyss. Pakistan's economy is plummeting, ensnared in a web of debt. The gap between imports, at an eye-watering $90 billion, and exports, at just $30 billion, is depleting the nation's foreign exchange reserves at an alarming rate. With a GDP of $376 billion and staggering debts of $274 billion, the interest burden alone is a colossal challenge. A third of the nation's budget is swallowed by debt repayments, trapping Pakistan in a debilitating cycle of debt. The immediate future looks bleak, with around $8 billion in loan repayments due in the coming months, against a backdrop of just $5.8 billion in foreign reserves. Faced with a paucity of solutions, the government appears cornered into accruing more debt. In Pakistan, the political landscape is not just complicated, it's a veritable whirlwind. The dismissal of Imran Khan, a cricket icon turned Prime Minister, has ignited a firestorm of chaos across the nation. The aftermath of Khan's ouster saw thousands taking to the streets in protest. The response? A police crackdown led to widespread arrests, including protesters, party officials, and even local workers. Journalists, too, found themselves caught in the fray. Amidst this tumult, the Pakistan Telecommunications Authority took an alarming step, scrutinizing social media and internet usage. But why is this unrest escalating so rapidly? Let's dive deeper into this political quagmire. Imran Khan, once celebrated as a populist hero, led Pakistan from 2018 until a no-confidence vote in 2022 precipitated his fall from grace. Despite his expulsion, he remains a popular figure. To grasp Pakistani politics is to understand a power play among three key forces: the military, the real power broker, and two political dynasties, the Pakistan Muslim League, Nawaz, PMLN, and the Pakistan People's Party, PPP, both mired in corruption scandals. Enter Imran Khan, who, riding on his cricketing laurels, founded Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI, in 1996. He promised anti-corruption reforms and to rejuvenate Pakistan's welfare state. By 2018, he had broken the political duopoly, winning the elections. But Khan's tenure soon hit turbulent waters: a pandemic, economic woes, Indo-Pak tensions, and the Kashmir crisis. The real turning point: a falling out with the military. Initially aligned, Khan's growing opposition to US policies and his stance on Russia's invasion of Ukraine deepened the rift. By April 2022, Khan faced a no-confidence vote, losing the military's backing and allies in the legislature. His claims of a foreign conspiracy were dismissed by Washington and Islamabad alike. Now, Khan battles over 100 legal charges, including terrorism and corruption. Pakistan today simmers in a pot of environmental and economic crises, further heated by the conflict in Ukraine and COVID-19's inflationary impact. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif grapples with depleting foreign reserves amidst internal unrest caused by floods and other disasters. Khan, advocating for early elections, faces internal party dissent and government opposition. With October elections looming, one certainty remains: the military's shadow looms large over Pakistani politics, PTI in power or not. Across Pakistan, the streets are alive with strikes and demonstrations, but these are far from celebratory gatherings. They're fueled by a deep-seated cost-of-living crisis that's gripping the nation. The government's decision to hike power prices in an attempt to meet certain IMF conditions was meant to be a savvy move. Spoiler alert: it didn't go down well. Pakistan finds itself in the throes of an unyielding economic crisis, a situation that's stealing the spotlight in the lead-up to the next general elections. Picture this scenario. A month ago, Balochistan leader Anwar-ul-Haq Kakar stepped in as interim prime minister following Shehbaz Sharif's resignation. He's set to hold the fort until the general elections, whose date remains a mystery, likely not until early 2024. But here's the twist: popular opposition leader Imran Khan, recently sentenced to 3 years for corruption, is sidelined from the election drama. Meanwhile, the interim government walks a tightrope, balancing street-level discontent with the IMF's stringent checklist. Desperate to avert a sovereign default and stabilise the balance of payments, they sought a $3 billion lifeline from the IMF in June. One catch: reducing power subsidies, a move that didn't win them any popularity contests. Amid soaring living costs and inflation hitting 27% in August, Pakistan's economy is anything but stable. There's been a brief respite, thanks to financial aid from the UAE, China, Saudi Arabia, and the IMF, boosting foreign currency reserves to cover about 6 weeks of imports. But don't be fooled. The relief is temporary. With looming debt repayments, a shut door to financial markets, and an economy still in the doldrums, the pressure on Pakistan is far from over. As the clock struck midnight on December 2022, Pakistan's ledger revealed a staggering $126.3 billion in foreign debt and liabilities. A closer look shows that the Pakistani government is directly accountable for over 77% of this amount, totaling $97.5 billion owed to a diverse group of creditors. Additionally, government-controlled public sector companies are on the hook for $7.9 billion. Who exactly are these creditors? Pakistan's debt landscape is segmented into 4 principal categories: Chinese debt, private and commercial loans, multilateral debt, and obligations to the Paris Club. A significant chunk, about $45 billion, is owed to multilateral institutions. The World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and the IMF top the list of Islamabad's major multilateral creditors, with the World Bank leading at $18 billion. Despite its size, multilateral debt doesn't pose an immediate threat to Pakistan. These loans come with concessional terms, allowing 18 to 30 years for repayment, typically spread across numerous smaller transactions. In the fiscal year 2022-2023, Pakistan managed to pare down $4.5 billion of its debt to these lenders. Pakistan's debt to the Paris Club, a group of 22 major creditor nations, stands at $8.5 billion. This debt, primarily owed to Japan, Germany, France, and the United States, has a generous 40-year repayment plan at an interest rate of less than 1%. Turning to private debt, Pakistan owes $7.8 billion, largely in the form of Eurobonds and Sukuk bonds. This includes a recent $2 billion raised through Eurobonds, with interest rates varying between 6% and 8.87%. Pakistan's foreign commercial debt is also significant, set to reach nearly $9 billion by the end of the fiscal year. A major portion of this debt is owed to Chinese financial institutions. The terms of these commercial loans are stringent, with short repayment periods of 1 to 3 years and high interest rates. Some are pegged to the London Interbank Offered Rate, while Chinese loans are often linked to the Shanghai Interbank Offered Rate. Pakistan's debt to China is a whopping $27 billion. This includes bilateral debt, loans to Pakistani public sector companies, Chinese commercial loans, and foreign deposits from China's State Administration of Foreign Exchange. The bilateral debt, with a 20-year maturity, is on concessional terms. Imagine a clock ticking down to a financial deadline. For Pakistan, that deadline is between April 2023 and June 2026, during which they are obligated to repay an astonishing $77.5 billion. To put this into perspective, picture an economy worth $350 billion. The repayment sum is like an eye-watering bill after an extravagant night out. The immediate pressure is palpable. Between April and June of 2023 alone, Pakistan must find a way to pay back $4.5 billion. June is the critical month, with a hefty $1.4 billion Chinese commercial loan and a $1 billion Chinese safe deposit coming due. The Pakistani government is hopeful, perhaps even optimistic, that China might extend a helping hand by refinancing or extending the maturity of these loans. But even if Pakistan maneuvers through this financial tightrope, the following fiscal year doesn't offer any respite. They're staring down the barrel of a staggering $25 billion in debt service. This includes $7 billion in long-term debt and $15 billion in short-term borrowings, with a crucial $1 billion Eurobond repayment in the fourth quarter. It's akin to spinning multiple plates simultaneously. The plot thickens as Pakistan seeks annual rollovers of its loans with the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and China. It's like negotiating with creditors for an extended line of credit. They're banking on $2 billion from the UAE, $3 billion from Saudi Arabia, and $4 billion in Chinese safe deposits to be carried forward. It's a scenario rife with uncertainty. Fast forward to 2024-2025, and the debt service drama continues unabated. They're up against a wall with $24.6 billion due, including substantial repayments to Chinese lenders. And in 2025-2026, the burden doesn't lighten, with at least $23 billion due, including significant Eurobond repayments and sizable debts to Chinese commercial lenders. As of September 2023, Pakistan's foreign debt stood at a staggering $128.1 billion, a slight uptick from $124.6 billion the previous quarter. Let's take a financial journey back in time. From June 2006 to September 2023, Pakistan's foreign debt has ridden a roller coaster of highs and lows. The peak? A record $130.6 billion in December 2021. But rewind to June 2006, and it was a mere $37.2 billion, an exhilarating, albeit daunting, financial odyssey. October 2023 marked a significant chapter in the annals of Pakistan-China relations. Prime Minister Anwar-ul-Haq Khakar's visit to China at President Xi Jinping's behest was not just a ceremonial gesture. It was a profound reaffirmation of the $27 billion bond between these nations, a sum that encapsulates Pakistan's debt to China. Their dialogue was more than mere pleasantries. It was an assertion of enduring partnership and shared strategic visions. Amidst the grandeur of the Third Belt and Road Forum, the duo revisited the foundations of their alliance and pledged to nurture their symbiotic growth. China and Pakistan, in a demonstration of mutual support, tackled topics transcending economic boundaries, from sovereignty to combating terrorism, and from regional influences to global participation. Their accord was solidified. Pakistan's allegiance to the One China principle was a testament to this deep-rooted camaraderie. The Belt and Road Initiative emerged as a focal point, a beacon of global economic expansion. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a linchpin of this initiative, entered a new phase, emphasizing innovation, sustainability, and inclusivity. Key projects like the Di-Khanchob Road and Gwadar Port were highlighted, underscoring their significance in bolstering connectivity and regional prosperity. The visit was not just a parade of agreements, but a mosaic of concrete commitments, spanning digital economy, space, mining, and beyond. The contentment with the CPK's socio-economic impact was palpable. In a world craving stability and unity, China and Pakistan stood together, advocating for a harmonious global community enriched by cultural diversity and mutual learning. As Prime Minister Khakar expressed gratitude, the visit concluded not with a full stop, but with an ellipsis, a promise of ongoing dialogue and deepened collaboration. This visit, sealed by 20 pivotal agreements, was more than a diplomatic venture. It was a testament to the resilient and evolving partnership between China and Pakistan, a relationship crucial to shaping the economic contours of both nations in the years to come. Pakistan's financial landscape is intricately woven with a diverse tapestry of debts, encompassing commercial loans, foreign deposits, and support to public enterprises, as well as bilateral loans. A notable highlight in this complex fiscal mosaic is the substantial debt owed to China, underscoring the deep economic interconnections between Beijing and Islamabad. This debt scenario is not solely centered around China, however. Pakistan's financial obligations extend to various other entities, including private creditors, the Paris Club, and major multilateral organizations such as the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and IMF. Looking ahead, the management and repayment of these debts are poised to be a pivotal aspect of Pakistan's economic and diplomatic maneuvering in the years to come.